When people talk to me for the first time and they hear that I have a French accent, usually the conversation ends up going towards wine or towards food. And I have positively no interest in that. Like, I always end up shutting down the conversation and saying I'm not a foodie and I don't drink alcohol. And most people really get confused at this point because, they think, oh, I know all about French people and French people are very proud of their country and their food and their wine. And I'm like, absolutely not. And that's not the only thing that people usually find confusing about me or annoying, maybe, or sometimes intriguing, depending on who is in front of me. People react differently to this kind of contradictions or things that can be confusing. And I don't know if it's one of my biggest gifts or if it's one of the main obstacles I'm putting in my own life. But I have contradictions, I have range, I have different facets, and sometimes extreme ones. And I'm allowing myself to lean into that even if that tickles people's brain and they get confused and they get scared about me or they don't know if they can trust me, or on the other hand, if they get really excited about it. I don't know, it depends on the type of people. And I wanted to do this video today to share a few of these contradictions with you because I believe that we all have this, but I believe a lot of us are just like filtering them down or hiding them or not allowing them ourselves to access it and put it out there. And I feel it's actually more enjoyable to be a walking contradiction than what most people realize. So this is my video to encourage you as well to be that and give that to the world, because you never know who is going to be interesting into that. So yeah, my biggest contradictions, I would say, first of all, I'm both logical and hyper-rational, and I'm also spiritual. My brain is on the autism spectrum, so I'm very good at analytical thinking, very good at very abstract things, and connecting dots and enjoying like systems and structure and things that are based on facts. Or like, for instance, at school, I was really, really good with math, and I was really always very good at making like link between different things. I remember one time the teacher, we had this training where the teacher, like, we had like a massive, like, huge chalkboards where he was writing things on one side, and he kept doing and writing new stuff, and then at some point he was on the other side of the wall and he was asking a question, and I was like, that's about the thing that is on the other side of the board. And the people in the room, in the class, were like, what are you talking about? And the teacher was like, yeah, you're true, you've made the connection. And I was like, yes, I know, I made the connection. But I feel it's what I mean. My brain is very good for this like pattern finding and connecting dots. And yeah, that makes me a very, very logical person. I can be very rational and really stick to facts and things like this, and being very factual. And on the other side, in the recent years, I've been more on the spiritual side. Like, I can talk about intuition, I can talk about trying to have faith in the universe, I can talk about, things that happen to me that feels like coincidence or like serendipity, or things that I'm like, oh, I'm sure there is a reason why this is happening right now. I can have deep conversation about purpose, about the meaning of life, and then having more like fluffy things, like not things where there is fact or anything. It's just more like, oh, up there. And animals as well, and connecting with like little moments or like whimsy magical stuff. I can do that, and I think this is very confusing for people, because you're like, you're hyper rational and hyper logical, and poof, I say something that makes absolutely no sense, that has no relationship with that. So I think this is like kind of extreme things, but actually it's actually for two parts of me that are very complementary, and I can use them at a different moment. I can be very logical, and I can be spiritual, which gives me more emotions and a different approach to life that makes me actually happier. So I can combine that and use it in different situations. Um, Same thing with how I approach things. I'm both I call myself an academic baby, and also a very practical person. Like, I'm an academic baby because I did a lot of studies. Like, when I was younger, it's like, go to school. I did one master, I did a second master, I did a PhD. I have a strong background in like very academia in general, and I've done like research, scientific research, so I can see the value of it. I can see the value of deep research, of having like solid facts, or having questions you ask yourself and you try to find answer in quite organized way, of things that really can give you a strong confidence that what you are thinking or operating from is actually real. But I'm also a very, very practical person. Like, over the last few years, I feel that I've moved from very theoretical stuff to more like real, tangible things that I can practice. For instance, for personal development, I'm more about street smart right now. Like, I'm not like, let me go read, I don't know, the psychology of confidence. It's like, no, how can I be confident in real life? Well, I can be confident in real life by showing up every single day, by reminding my brain that I've already achieved a few things and making sure that my brain remembers these things, by like by spending time around people who are confident as well. Like I'm more looking for things that I can actually practice and apply and help me build like lived experience rather than anything else. And yeah, I feel it's been also a shift in the way I approach it. So like I can be of the extreme. I can value the research, and I can also just do like I'm gonna do my own research and do things myself and bridge that together. And I feel this is also yeah, some people are like, oh, if you've done like PhD and stuff like this, you must be really really like research driven. And I'm like, let me play with it, let me experience something rather than just being in the theoretical side. So also confusing for a lot of people, and also confusing for people when they call me a PhD, and I'm like, please don't call me like this. It doesn't resonate with my identity. Um, Another thing where people expect as well different things from me is regarding coaching. So I used to do coaching that is called high performance, which is how you can enjoy your life in a way that is sustainable, but it's at a high level. So you are, you're moving forward, you are enjoying yourself, but you are actually getting good results. And I can coach on that, and I can also watch Netflix every single day. And this was a bit like, like some people are like, oh, if you're coaching on high performance, you must be productive all the time. You must be constantly on chasing goals and, like working with everything. And that's usually what people hear when they hear high performance or they hear coaching. They are like, oh, you must really have all the best habits and everything in your life is bringing you towards the right thing. And it's like, for me, I also enjoy my life. I'm also trying to enjoy. Like high performance actually is also about enjoyment, but it's like I'm choosing what gives me joy. I'm choosing what helps me balance things. So sometimes productivity is to rest, and sometimes I want to watch a good Netflix series because that helps me zoom out and that helps me relax, and that just give me some good moments, some good memories, or I learn something or whatever. And that doesn't prevent me to be successful, right? I can just go out there again the next day. If I spend an hour watching Netflix one day, it does not really distract me from my life purpose and achieving things out there. I feel there is it's like there is more nuance than that. There is more life and reality of human life behind that. That sometimes people have these black and white expectations of who you should be if you're a coach and you coach on high performance. So I'm also watching Netflix and I am enjoying myself. And I also do nothing sometimes and I also enjoy myself. And it doesn't mean that I cannot perform in any shape or form. And I encourage people to do the same because actually that's actually way healthier to live your life like this. Um, Another contradiction that most people perceive about me is that I'm a very structured person, which come from the logical things I was mentioning earlier, but also like very serious about what I do. So I'm somebody who is committed. I'm gonna give my best. I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna, I don't need people to motivate me. I can find it and go after something. I love organizing things and putting structure in place to get things moving. In a like smooth way and kind of like basically creating some structure in the middle of chaos or making things easier for people. I'm really really good at this. And yeah, if you work with me, you will know that I'm reliable and I'm there. Like I'm not somebody who just takes things lightly. I'm doing the work. And on the other side of this serious, professional, structured version of me, there is also a very strong creative and improvising person, which sometimes surprises people. So I have a good creative side. I'm doing, you can see like the paintings everywhere. You can see the videos. It's also content creation, so it's an act of creation as well. I can be sometimes very playful with language. I like to make jokes or like use like some light-hearted humor in situations to get things to change. I've also done improvisation courses. Actually, when I started coaching, I actually went for improvisation because I was like, you know what, I'm going to coach people. They're going to tell me things about themselves that may be heavy or maybe I don't know how to handle that. And I still want to be able to have a positive impact. So how can I handle it? And it's like, well, you just need to know how to improvise and be confident when you do so that whatever you come up with intuitively is going to be what they need. And yeah, so I did improvisation. And I feel this is something that people don't expect from me. I remember last year doing actually a training for a very boring systems that a company wanted to use, and I brought the like seriousness and structure, and I organized the things, but I had to deliver a training so that people actually use the tool, and I made the training really fun. I created a small story about how the different people in the team were part of a project, and I helped them see how the tool would lead them through the project. But I made sure it was fun, I made sure it was engaging, I made sure the pace was good, and I brought a lot of playfulness and joy in that. And that actually worked really, really well. And people were like, okay, now we want to use the system because you sold it really, really well. But this is like what I mean. You can combine both, and this is something I've learned as well for professionalism. Like you can be somebody very committed and very structured, and you can bring the moments where you create emotions for other people, and that actually creates a better result. So this is something that people get surprised. They don't expect it from me. They're like, you look more like chill and calm and structured and things like this, and it's like poof, you can just like make a joke or say something that makes no sense, and it's surprising them, and it's a different way to activate people's brains. So people usually get yeah, their interest piqued when they see that side of me. And I would say the last contradiction that I know a lot of people are confused with is that I can be both very compassionate, and I will also call your bullshit if you are doing or saying things that make absolute no sense. I'm a trained coach, so I have a lot of I've developed a lot of capacity for neutral spaces, for empathy, for not being judgmental, for being open, and also I'm very good at seeing psychological patterns, or seeing why people behave the way they behave, and feeling the pain, or feeling the motives behind that. I can see it all. I can feel it all quite often. I can appreciate where this is all coming from, and I can see people at different stages of their human journey. And sometimes it's like I will be very compassionate about it. I will be like, okay, I see all that, and I'm not blaming you for it. I'm not wanting you to change. I'm just there, and I can appreciate you as you are, or I can help you if you need that. But being compassionate doesn't mean that I'm going to take your bullshit. So if you are doing things that are messing up with me, if you are having behaviors I don't want to engage with because they are below my own standards, I will call your crap out directly, very, very strongly. I'm not gonna let you drag me into anything. I'm gonna do it without flinching. And some people sometimes perceive that as like you're cold, or you are actually like again too rational, too logical, and you don't really have human emotions, and you need to look at people with more humanity. I've been told that a few times, and it's like, no, I can do both. I have the full range available, but right now you are behaving on the side where that's a boundary for me. That's a no, and I'm not engaging with that. And it means that I care enough, because I feel the people who care the most, they can give you both. They can be there for you, they can really support you, and when you are really getting in your own way, or you are doing things that are not acceptable, they will also tell you, because it's what you do when you care. You address the good things and you address the bad things as well, equally. And I feel this is a range that confuses people, because sometimes if you are compassionate, then you're supposed to be very nice and accept everything and being some kind of doormat. And if you are only calling out the bullshit, then people will think that you are cold. And being in the middle of it and doing both, or like moving from one side to the other, is actually something that a lot of people struggle to do, or they struggle to do it in a way that feels logical, like yeah, consistent for people. So yeah, this is also one of my contradictions. I can be very, very open and there for you, but I will let you know when you are messing up. Sorry, it sounded a bit scary the way I said it here, but yeah. I would say overall, I can see that all these, like different sides of me, like logical versus spiritual, creative versus structured, uh, no bullshit versus compassion. All these things like this can be confusing for some people, because it can look like I'm moving from one extreme to the other, or having behaviors that are not consistent at all. If you look at, in a repeated way, and most people would hide that. Most people will try to nuance it so that it's more palatable for people, or maybe more people would explain this to others, that other people can understand why they are doing that. And I realize that I'm actually not doing this, or maybe I used to do it in the past, now I'm not don't do it anymore. And I'm really wanting to explore this even more. I really want to do that for my 40s and see, okay, who is that filtering out? Who wants to get in because they're actually attracted by the range I can offer? And I feel it's a sign of maturity for me. That's how I perceive it in my own journey, is that I'm now able to handle opposite truth about myself, that I can be both different things, or I can be in the middle and bridging both, and also to hold it for other people too, because I found that if I can say I have range too, then I can be around people who are so complex and they have multiple facets, and I can also appreciate that. And I feel this type of people are usually like richer to be around, or there is something about them that I really want to to celebrate, but also I really want to encourage that in other people. So yeah, this was my my yeah, inspiration for you today. I would like to know in the comments, what is your special flavor for confusing people? What is the, the biggest contradiction you have, and why do you love this about yourself? Because I think there is no reason to not like it. I like to be on the extremes and surprise people when I can in the middle. And yeah, I think it makes life fun. So I would like to hear yours. And if you don't know me, my name is Chloe, and I'm doing daily videos on YouTube where I try to inspire whoever is watching, if it's you, hello, and to build their best life, to give themselves more permission to be who they want to be, and to also yeah, think about whatever systems and philosophies you need to actually live your best life and not being distracted by the rest of the world all the time. So if you want to follow that journey, you can sign up to the channel down below, and I see you tomorrow for another video.